full disclosure right off the top, I learned about it through the kink scene.
Hello everyone, my name is Chloe Alice and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we have a special guest. This is Anna. Anna is male to female transgender, and she may seem to be early in her transition, but she has actually been medically transitioning with hormones for about a year now. I think year is the day.
Yeah, maybe, like very close to it.
But has not yet socially transitioned or doesn't even feel the need to actually like socially transition.
Well, it's kind of funny. I kind of have and kind of haven't. Like, in a way, this is a coming out video because people who see this might be their first time knowing it.
Maybe there's some people out there that have been transitioning medically and haven't taken the step to socially transition, and maybe different perspectives can maybe help you in that way. So we'll kind of just talk about that and everything. So how you doing?
Tired, really tired.
Yeah.
You wouldn't let me eat my cereal, so
I did. I told
you.
Oh,
listen.
Eat it.
I went through the trouble.
Just eat your cereal.
I went in trouble.
She got this like McDonald's milk. Look at this McDonald's.
I got two of them.
They're out.
I was just gonna like burst in the door and like smash both of them and just pour them on my face like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That would be great.
It's the traditional way to come out on the internet, so.
Well, you look good.
Thank
and
you
that's
very
all.
much.
I like this sweater. It really brings out your eyes.
It's a thrift store.
Yeah.
Sweater.
You
They're
got
the
this
best.
really pretty purse that's like over there too.
Yeah.
It's got butterflies on it and I'm all about it. I'm gonna get a butterfly tattoo right here. It's
Cute.
gonna be great. Yeah. When did you realize that you were trans?
Full disclosure right off the top, I learned about it through the kink scene.
Okay.
Which clarify, not by like any kind of like fetishizing like women's clothing or like fetishizing trans women, but that just happened to be where I was when I discovered what like gender non-conforming was. Learning as much as I could, and I met somebody who said that one of her kinks was she liked dressing masculine, like burly men up in women's clothes.
Would you consider yourself burly from before?
I was very hairy, but more in like the Robin Williams sense. Like I feel like we were kin.
Gotcha.
Like kindred spirits.
Like you're super fun and happy, but really down deep inside, you're like, I hate myself.
Oh my goodness. Oh no.
Okay. This has gone.
Sorry, I was trying desperately to make a Robin Williams joke, but I'm very tired because I wasn't allowed to eat my cereal.
I said eat it. Why are you using a fork?
I talked to a friend of mine who said that she was interested in dressing up burly men in women's clothes. She felt that like very masculine men didn't often get the opportunity to be soft and in a very healthy sense, like desirable the way that women often got to be, and so she wanted to give them a safe environment to explore those feelings. And I thought about it, I was like, that actually sounds really nice.
So you wanted to be soft and desirable?
Yeah, I mean, like always, like one of the things I'd always tell people that I never really had, I think my brain just registered what happened. Human touch. It's been so long. No, but some days I just want to be cute. Like I don't know how to explain this, but I just want to be cute. I just want to feel cute, and I don't know how, and I feel like it's something I'm not allowed to do.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I could just experiment with. So I started with the underwear, as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Then
started with the underwear.
but then it was still just.
Mine wasn't the kink scene. But
well, that was
started
the thing.
with the underwear.
That was the weird thing. Was it started off as not really a fetish for the underwear, but I was just like.
Because I feel like that's kind of how like cross-dressing kind of starts.
Yeah.
Like it starts as like a kink thing.
Yeah, and like I want to make that perfectly clear. It was never a fetish for me, and I don't want to make people feel bad. If that is their first experience with like gender non-conforming ideas, like that's okay.
Okay, so you started that way.
Then I wondered.
Then what happened?
So then I decided to start wearing other women's clothes like dresses and things and blah blah blah.
Dresses.
And I was like, is it weird to wear like cardigans like only just in my house and stuff? My brain was just like, you can just do it. just go out. Just go out in those clothes.
Right.
Somebody's gonna mock you. I mean, you'll tell them to, you know, go away and just give them the finger or whatever,
Right.
like you usually do.
So you wanted to do it more than just like in your house and
Right.
in the bedroom.
Yeah, I just realized that I really liked, I actually had a fashion sense. So I just started incorporating my hobby clothes into just my normal attire. And then over time I was like, oh, like, I you know what? I think there might be a thing for that. I might be gender fluid. Mm-hmm. And so I started playing with that, and then, you know, all the aesthetic things like makeup and
Right.
and things like that, and jewelry and stuff. And the more time went on, the more I started learning, you know, by looking into it and stuff. And I was like, oh, you know, I could maybe think about like taking hormones, and I could maybe think about like changing my voice, and I could maybe do these things. I would love to do this full time, you know, and I wouldn't mind if people started calling me Anna around the Oh, there's a word for that, isn't there?
Yeah. That's what we're here
And that's
for.
why we're here.
Yeah. That's why we're here. Transgender.
Sorry.
Woo!
Sorry for the kinky adventure, friends.
Oh,
but
no,
it's,
you're good.
But it's the truth.
I mean,
So.
everybody's story is different. So if that's how your story originates, then like, okay, so you haven't officially, so you've medically transitioned. You're a year on hormones. You haven't officially come out. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, like you say, I'm not out officially, and that's not entirely true, but it's not entirely not true.
Right.
I'm not out on social media, but I think that just kind of comes to the way I use
Right.
social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like I use it for using Marketplace and,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. Having a public persona isn't that important to me, which is weird because
Mm-hmm.
I'm also an actor.
Right.
But I don't care about that. I want to be able to separate my professional life and my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care. The way I look at it is, you say I'm not out officially, is like, well, for the most part, most everyone who knows me, like personally, knows.
Okay.
And it's not like a secret. I mean,
Gotcha.
they understand the etiquette.
You're still in that transition period where like you don't feel bad if somebody like messes up or
Oh,
anything
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And like you know that it's like taking a time because it's also taking a huge transition on yourself. You're like feeling more and more comfortable, so maybe I'll step out a little more today.
Right.
Or feeling more comfortable of yourself.
All right, and it's also a transition for them.
Exactly.
I mean, like, let me make something clear. Just because this is how I'm handling my own transition does not mean that anybody is obligated to do the same thing.
Right.
If this helps you navigate it, do that. But
Yeah.
if it doesn't, you know, don't trip, dog. Like, you're good.
Everybody's transition is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's transition is valid. So.
Yeah, so like I tell people when I come out, I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna freak out on you if you call me
Right.
my dead name. Oh, by the way, here's what a dead name is. Because a lot of times they haven't heard about these
Right.
things.
Some people have never even like been in contact with a person that's trans.
Right.
That was a big thing at my job. It's like I was the only trans person that these people have seen.
Right.
So, you know, like, and it definitely credit to like helping change their perspective of the whole thing, because now like if they do come in contact with somebody who is different, then they'll be like more accepting than they were when they were with me, you know.
Right.
Eat your cereal.
Nah, I committed to the bit.
Do it.
I'm not worried about having the perfect transition.
Right.
You know,
What
coming
is
out.
the perfect transition though,
Exactly.
You know? So, like,
Yeah.
So you're an actor.
Yeah.
Right. You've been acting for how long?
Oh God. 2012.
So like
Like consistently.
8 years?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you've done like 99% male roles.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you're transitioning, like, do you feel awkward doing male roles?
Oh, absolutely not.
No?
Like, and the reason for that is because I mean I'm very much a character actor, and it's always the roles that I have played.
I've done a few different acting things on my TikTok, and a lot of people would ask me the question, like, does it make you feel weird to portray, like, male roles?
Mm-hmm.
And I always give the answer, I'm like, this is a character. I'm acting, you know?
Exactly.
And that's the whole thing. It's
Right.
like, I'm perfectly fine with acting like a person, you know, but as far as what I want to live my life
Mm-hmm.
as and, like, portray myself as my, like, self, that's different,
Right.
you know?
And I think this is very important because things change. like the way you feel about something may change.
Absolutely.
Like people expect that you will feel guilty for committing to feeling a certain way and saying, I feel this way, and then it changes later. You're allowed to do that.
Right. It's so funny when I like look at me playing a male role. I'm an idiot. Like I look so weird. I've like lost all the ability to like be a man. Like
Well, yeah, like I can't imagine you as a man. Maybe if you had like a pencil mustache and like a comb over with like black shoe polish in your hair. You got this. You got your pipe. And you're like, That's why it doesn't bother me, but me saying that now doesn't mean that it won't bother me, or I won't change my mind, or it won't be something totally different sometime in the future, and that is entirely okay.
Right. When I was first transitioning, and just like you now, like if people messed up and called you the wrong pronouns or called you by your dead name, like you were completely okay because it was a transition. But then, as well as for you and for them. But then it got to like 2 years, 2.5 years, and I'm like, guys.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you know, like
Right.
now it's upsetting me,
Right,
you know?
yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
like
yeah.
it was cool before, but it's like, it's been a bit, you know,
Yeah.
like I feel like you should like get on with it. But
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
But then you can see like the people that like actually give a shit about you because they feel bad,
Right.
and the people who don't give two shits.
Right.
They're like, I'm just gonna call you whatever I want you because I'm a bigot.
I mean, you just have to deal with those people, unfortunately. But
Right.
that's the thing, is that's why we create our own communities.
Absolutely.
Like, not just trans communities, but like allies and friends and people who do give a shit.
So are you in like a community?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's kind of a growing community here.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. That's the growing part.
So do you dress more feminine at the house, would you say?
No, no, not anymore. Not that I don't dress feminine at the house.
Did you like start when you started transitioning? You're like, yes, like I'm gonna wear this stuff, and then
Well, again, I just really have a bad habit of biting the bullet. So, like, whenever I was in my cross-dressing phase, I would go out in full makeup, wig, dresses. I had these, like, giant, thick jelly cutlets that I
Oh
would put in
my.
a bra.
Jelly cutlets.
Like, I was essentially in full costume. The more I've become comfortable, like, this is pretty normal for me.
okay.
Which is
You look good.
Thank
You
you
look
very
good.
much.
I
was gonna say, like, I don't present much. Like, my hair's still doing like that Stanley Kubrick thing.
Right. So have you cut your hair?
Oh yeah, like,
Yeah.
at the beginning of quarantine, I just berserk, but
Right.
but like, and my voice isn't really super femme, and like, I'm not even trying at all. This is just what it sounds
Yeah,
like. But the
be
thing is,
yourself.
I'm like comfortable with it. So
Yeah, and if that
that's-
makes you comfortable, then that's awesome.
Yeah. So like, really, I don't really have male clothes and female clothes. I have my clothes.
Right.
And like, the way I look at it, I'm like, my girlfriend wears jeans and a t-shirt all the time, and that's the
Right.
bulk of my male clothes. And like, you could find the same things that constituted as men's clothes in women's variations. I mean, sure, they don't have pockets.
It's so that you have to buy it like a purse.
Yeah, like one time I had a pair of jeans, like a pair of guys' jeans, that I could get my arm this deep into the pocket.
That's so far.
And I'm like,
You could carry everything.
I'm like, no wonder women's pants don't have pockets. All the pockets went to the guys. So, they're just I mean, like, not to be super Eddie
They're
Izzard
your
about it,
clothes.
but they're my clothes. So, like, I mean, I would wear this in guy mode had I a guy mode.
Right.
And I feel like that's a really interesting...
You're just a you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just Anna. It became less about looking like a woman and more about, like, feeling like one. And I do. Even with my voice being deep and even with my hair, having receded at a point. It's growing back, but I mean, it's still...
The hormones are helping with that.
Yeah, absolutely, which is wild. But, I don't...
And the girls.
Progesterone. Anyway, progesterone. So, I don't pass very well. I get absurd and stuff, and sometimes it does suck, especially when I'm clearly presenting, but I also don't give a shit most of the time.
And that's one of the main parts is if like you have to have a tough skin, because going down this road, like your life is going to be harder than like quote unquote a normal life, you know, so you have to develop a tough skin, and that sucks. You shouldn't have to, but that's the way it is
in certain situations, not like generally. Again, like that's why you find a community of people who actually do care about you, because if there's one thing I've learned the hard way is you can't keep that act up forever. Like you have to be able to be open to somebody. Right.
What have you learned from this experience?
Well, again, just to knock that last thing I was talking about off, because it relates to this too, is that it became more about feeling like a woman. I don't worry so much about looking like one anymore, because I feel like one, which is this weird nebulous thing, but the point is, like, I don't feel bad in ways that I didn't know were feeling bad anymore. And regardless of how I look, I know that I'm just me. And that.
So do you experience like any dysphoria?
Oh yeah, of course I do. It's not as bad as some, I feel, only because like I have a very punk rock screw the man kind of attitude towards any kind of suffering. But yeah, it does get to me. But what I find very interesting is that looking like a woman became less the goal, and it made me realize that it was more a homeopathic remedy for gender dysphoria.
You're valid whether you pass or not pass, you know, and like not everybody can pass. Some people pass amazingly.
If you do worry about passing, that is okay. You're not a bad person or thinking about it wrong or anything. But like it's not wrong.
I care.
But what's weird about passing is think about what it is. Passing means that you are able to pass a perception. Well, I almost said pass a perception check. But yeah, like you have to pass someone else's like deception check. Essentially, like what passing is you being able to look a certain way to another person. Which sucks because that's going to vary depending on every single person on earth. There are cis women who have been harassed and beaten because they went to the women's bathroom and people clocked them as trans. So the non-helpful sad girl way of looking at this is we're fucked either way. You embrace it.
That's absurd.
You face the absurd, which I think is perfect.
Is your cereal perfect?
Yeah, I'm eating cereal during this video with a fork because it makes no sense, and it's
perfect,
fun, and it's fun,
and that you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, and I think that dealing with
your jugs,
and I think that dealing with these sort of things really, I think that it helps because it helps you realize that you're never going to not have people just be complete jerks, so you can deal with them in the moment and then try to find something better for you.
This is a good look for you.
Thanks. I just had them done.
Oh, yeah? They're full milk?
Yeah. So you can let it super bum you out, or you can just embrace it. Be you anyway. Like, in the face of all that adversity, I mean, be safe, obviously, but be yourself. Laugh in the face of it and just be you.
Listen, I'm just out here trying to roll a D20 for perception, okay?
And you're rocking it, by the way.
Thanks. I rolled like a 18. There's some work to be done, but we're good. Do you have any advice for future trans people?
Progesterone.
Okay.
Get a bunch of different perspectives. Always be learning, not because you need to know what it means to be. Yeah.
I got a few other
I think that this is a wonderful idea.
Hey.
Like,
do you have any friends that want to like hop up on this train? You just let me know.
I told people that I was doing this today, and there are some people who are very interested.
Hell yeah!
But get other perspectives, because the last place that you want to be when you're unsure about your gender and not sure what the world is going to hold for you is to be stuck in one way of thinking. And you don't have to agree with with what everybody says, but at least be aware of what ideas exist, because then I mean, it can kind of help you out, and that really helps.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Anna, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, absolutely. If you guys have any questions for Anna, please leave them in the comments below. She'll be scrolling through, hopefully, answering all your questions. It's been great. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Progesterone.